What would you like?
And what sort of work do you have for me, blacksmith?
There's this fella who's a thorn in my side. I owe him something. And I need you to make this problem go away.
What is it? I'm listening.
His name is Tomcat. He's a swordsman. A real tough fella who can bend steel with his bare hands. I met him at the tavern once, and I promised him I'd make a sword that he surely won't be able to bend. So it has to be made of Damascus steel, you understand?
That isn't exactly a simple task. You know how to make something like that, Radovan?
God's nails. That's just the thing. I was so boozed up, I made a wager with him that I could definitely do it. This is about honor, you understand?
I'd like to know where you're going to get your hands on some welded steel.
Relax, lad. I've got it all figured out, as it happens. There's this old hermit called Ambrose, living in Apollonia.
And he can pray for us?
God's nails, let me finish talking. The word is, he was fighting heathens years ago in faraway Andalusia, and folks say they saw this interesting broken sword in his hut. From the description, it seems our peculiar hermit has a real Toledo blade.
Welded Spanish steel? There's nothing better for a sword.
See now? You do understand. But there's a catch.
Naturally.
They say that Ambrose the Hermit has changed a lot recently. People from far and wide used to go to him for remedies and blessings. But now he won't see no one. I even heard he made a pact with the devil. And there have been other strange goings-on.
What strange goings-on?
I heard something in the tavern about some apparition. But that's all I know.
Where can I find the hermit?
Do I look like someone who goes to a hermit for advice? I know he has a hut somewhere in Apollonia. But you'll have to ask the Truscovitz womenfolk if you want to know more.
Right. I'll try to find out more about the hermit's sword.
Come and see Betty from the Truscovitz tavern. She knows all the gossip. She'll definitely tell you more about the hermit. But Henry, if there's any truth in that pact with the devil, don't get caught up in it. The best sword in the world isn't worth eternal damnation.
The Lord be with you.
I need some advice.
You want some advice? Here's some for free. I catch you fighting here again, and I'll spank your bare ass like a brat.
What? I said I'm sorry.
But the Cumans are still stinking up the place. Down to business. I don't have all day for you. So what do you want?
I promised Radovan the blacksmith I'd go and see Ambrose the hermit in Apollonia.
My God, lad, stay away from them rocks. Ambrose the hermit sold his soul to the devil and won't talk to nobody no more.
Yeah, I heard that as well. But it seems a bit far-fetched.
So why would an evil spirit suddenly start appearing near Apollonia? It's the devil's work, believe you me.
And has anyone sent to the castle for the priest?
Not at all. Bailiff Thrush is keeping it quiet so far. 4 strangers came here yesterday. They sat in the corner there, but once they heard about the apparition, they started to take a big interest.
What strangers?
They looked like monks, only they had daggers concealed under their robes. I saw them clearly. I'm telling you, there's something fishy going on around Ambrose.
But I have to speak to him.
Didn't you hear what I said? He doesn't speak to nobody. He hides away in his hut and sends everyone away. I'd think long and hard before doing anything if I was you, because this reeks of hell.
There's something else. What do you know about this apparition?
Stanislav, the herds boy. He comes running into the village that night, all terrified, saying he'd seen a rider from hell in Apollonia. And the very next night, it appeared in the rocks below the road to Tahov. There's this conciliatory stone cross there. And the next day, it was at a funny angle. There's some devilry in it for sure.
Where can I find the herds boy?
Stanislav has a sheep pen in the meadow beyond the Troskovitz graveyard, right above the big crossroads outside Apollonia.
And it was the herds boy who saw it by the cross, or someone else?
The apothecary's wife, Gerda. Ask her yourself. She's not been herself ever since, poor woman.
How do I get to the Hermit?
You're asking for trouble, lad. But all right, if you insist, you go through Apollonia, along the path below the rocks, till you reach the point where it crosses the stream. And from there, you take the path uphill to the left, leading into the rocks.
Who's this hermit fella, anyway?
No one knows. He settled in the rocks a few years back. Folk used to go to him for various healing ointments or advice.
And what has he got to do with this apparition?
Well, he was at death's door recently, bedridden, and then suddenly he's got his health back. Just like that. And he's like a different man since then. He sends everyone who goes to see him packing. Mark my words. He sold his soul to the devil to get better. And the devil sometimes comes here on the prowl for unwary souls.
Where did these peculiar monks come from?
Hard to say, but they rode in on well-fed horses.
Monks on horseback? That's definitely odd.
Well, Bashka the butcher says they came from the bishop about that diabolical apparition. In short, the Inquisition.
Good day to you.
I hear that some apparition was seen around here. Is it true?
I don't know anything about that. See you soon, my friend.
It happens! What are you here for today? Good afternoon.
I hear something happened to the hermit.
Forget about him. He's in a bad way. Sick, they say.
I hear Ambrose the hermit has some old sword.
A few folks saw it at his place some years ago, but then it disappeared. Maybe he sold it. Or chucked it out.
I was told Stanislav the herdsboy saw the devil in the rocks.
God in heaven, save us. It happened a few days ago. He saw him with his own 2 eyes.
What happened at the conciliatory cross?
Hard to say. It was turned around. But what Gerda from the apothecary saw there, you'll have to ask her.
I'd like to ask you about something.
No, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Go away, please.
Wait, Gerda. I didn't come to mock you. On the contrary, I want to help you.
Really?
I believe you really did see something. But I want to know what it really was.
So, what do you want me to tell you?
Relax, Gerda. Have a think, and then tell me what happened with the apparition.
It was the day before yesterday. I was picking marshmallow roots above the rocks. It grows by the cross there, near the big dry tree not far from the road to Tahov. I didn't get home till after dark when I suddenly realized I didn't have my knife.
So you went back to the cross?
God have mercy. He hopped up right out of the ground in front of me. He was all in black and he was grinding his teeth. I started to scream. There was something glinting in the dark and this clanking sound, and I just turned and scarpered.
That's all?
At one point I turned around and I saw a dark shadow darting across the field. Proper flying along it was, like the devil, and heading straight to Apollonia.
What's this place where you saw the apparition?
It's a conciliatory cross, erected in the memory of some innocent's death. They say some years ago, a young fella killed himself on account of an unhappy love affair. He jumped from a cliff.
And the day after you saw the apparition, the cross was at an angle.
Aye, all askew. Everyone here saw it. I didn't go back. I can't.
Don't worry, Gerda. Nobody's gonna make fun of you anymore. I'll find out what it was all about and what you really saw there.
What do you think happened?
If the devil's at large here, someone summoned him and should be punished for it. But you needn't fear. Everything will get cleared up soon.
Thank you. By all the saints, thank you. But please, come and tell me how it turned out. I'll make it worth your while.
Gerda really did see something. That cross hides a secret.
Are you blind? You almost ran into me.
Gah! Quick!
Whoa! The conciliatory cross. An old memorial to some unfortunate event. This is where Gerda saw the apparition. Fresh soil. Someone was digging here recently. It doesn't look like an apparition, Gerda. He didn't take either the coin or the books. So it wasn't a thief. It must be something else he was after.
Greetings. What do you want?
I hear you saw some diabolical apparition. Is that true?
Ah, you're that wolf hunter, Henry, aren't you?
Yeah. This time I need something from you. What about that apparition? Tell me.
Why do you want to know? Forget that shit, pal. It reeks of fire and brimstone.
I know how to deal with evil spirits. I know a spell. Want to learn it?
Of course!
Say after me. Vade retro satana.
Vade retro satana.
Vade retro satana. Remember that. You just have to say it, and you'll drive away the devil.
My God, what a spell! It's clear you know your stuff. What did you want to know?
What exactly did you see that night at the crossroads?
A diabolical apparition. A black rider on a black horse flew into Apollonia. His eyes glowed, and his horse was black as charcoal. He turned this way and that a couple of times at the crossroads, and then darted off into the rocks. To the Hermit's place, I'm sure.
He turned this way and that. That's strange. Would the devil not know the way?
I'm telling the truth. Gerda from the apothecary saw him too.
But the hermit helps people though, doesn't he?
Aye, he did. Only now they're saying he was at death's door and sold his soul to the devil. And that was the horseman.
Why? Why would the old man have sold his soul to the devil and then kept living as a pauper in his hut?
Who knows what's going on in them rocks? Some devilish trickery for sure. See you soon, my friend.
That herdsboy really did see something. And the trail leads into the rocks.
Is something wrong?
Quick! Whoa! Whoa! Horse? What's it doing here in the woods? I should take a closer look. A beautiful horse. Black as charcoal. The herdsboy wasn't lying. And you don't smell of brimstone. You're just an ordinary horse. Someone really did come to see the hermit. But it wasn't the devil. This is the place the innkeeper was talking about. The hermit lives somewhere up here.
Whoa!
God be with you, Hermit.
I don't have time for you. Go away.
Folk in the village are saying you've made a miraculous recovery. And since then, you won't let anyone near you. What happened?
Nothing happened. I just can't stand all these people coming here and disturbing me. Can't I have a moment's peace?
Judging by what I've heard about you, you're a bit fishy, Hermit.
What do you mean?
Well, there's a lot of talk about you in the village. They say you've made a pact with the devil, and are summoning demons from hell.
Old wives' tales. What do I care about such nonsense?
Well, but supposing it isn't nonsense.
Of course it is.
The apparition was seen by the conciliatory cross at night.
Old wives' tales.
I went to take a look, and it really is askew. But it wasn't magic that Hellspawn was wielding. It was a shovel. There was a hiding place beneath the cross. And the man digging there at night didn't have time to put the cross back in the right position.
By all the saints! So someone was digging there. What has that to do with me?
There was a brand new cloak of the Knights of the Cross in the hiding place. It's clear that the man doing the digging hid it there, maybe to cover up who he really is, and what he's planning.
I still don't know what you want from me. What have I got to do with some cloak?
The man who took things from the hiding place can't have been some chance thief, because he left a purse full of coin there.
So keep the groschen, lad, and stop pestering me. It's nothing to do with me.
I found some pretty interesting documents of the Order.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I reckon you do, Ambrose. According to one of the documents, you were appointed Seneschal of the Knights of the Cross with the Red Star. Or are you going to tell me it was some other Ambrose?
I'm not going to tell you anything. I don't know anything about any documents.
A few nights ago, a herdsboy saw a black horseman ride into Apollonia. He thought it was an apparition, but I think a demon would have known the road to Apollonia and wouldn't have spun round and round at the crossroads like a top.
Why are you telling me this?
Because I found a black horse stabled in a pen here, in the woods below the rocks. A well-fed, healthy horse, black as charcoal. The man who rode on it wasn't an apparition, or the devil.
Why are you telling me all this? For God's sake! Stop this nonsense right now.
That's enough. I think there are enough fishy things going on around you for me to tell the bailiff, but you're in luck. All I'm after is that broken sword. So, come clean.
You're wide of the mark. But in the end, maybe you could help me.
What do you want help with, Ambrose?
I'm not Ambrose. He died some time ago. I am Conrad, Knight of the Cross with the Red Star.
What are you doing in the Hermit's hut, then?
In Prague, I got into a serious dispute. Ambrose was the only person who could help me. That's why I came to see him.
I'm guessing that the diabolical horseman scaring people round these parts was you.
That was not my intention, believe me.
You scared the life out of Gerda from Troskowitz that night. What were you doing there?
Ambrose had a hiding place beneath the cross where he kept things from his past.
I found some documents there from the Knights of the Cross. But Ambrose clearly wasn't interested in them. So what did he send you to get?
He sensed that death was coming for him. He wanted me to help settle his affairs. And he also longed to hold his old sword in his hands one last time. I went to his hiding place that very night. But by the time I got back, Ambrose was dead. I put the blade on his grave in place of a cross.
Ambrose is dead, you say? How did it happen?
He was an old man. Unfortunately, he was already at death's door when I found him.
And you had nothing to do with his death?
Of course not. Ambrose was my friend. I'd known him for 20 years. He was a good member of the Order and an outstanding teacher.
Ambrose was a member of your order?
More than a member. He was the Seneschal, second in rank only to the Grand Master. He served the Order for many years before getting into a dispute with the Prague chapter and the Inquisition. Then he had to disappear. I was the only one to know where to look for him. But I came too late. All he managed to tell me was his last wish.
So the sword is on Ambrose's grave. Will you tell me where I can find it?
You want to disturb his rest?
I just want the sword, that's all. It's no use to him now.
All right. I'll tell you where his grave is if you fulfill Ambrose's last wish instead of me. I can't do it.
All right. What am I supposed to do?
Listen carefully, then. There's an old widow called Margaret living in the village. Take this cross to her and say to her exactly these words. Margaret, Ambrose forgives you, but his brother must get what is rightfully his.
Margaret, Ambrose forgives you, but his brother must get what is rightfully his.
That's right.
I hope she'll know what this is about.
Don't worry, she will. Give her the cross, and I'll tell you where you can find the sword. Benedictio Domini sit tecum.
At least take a bath before you go out.
Aye. I'll head to the bathhouse right away.
Good evening. What do you need?
This might seem strange, but I'm supposed to give you this.
A cross? Mother of God. What's the meaning of this?
Margaret, Ambrose forgives you, but his brother must get what he deserves.
Ambrose? The Hermit?
It was his wish that I give you the cross and the message. He said you'd know what it's about.
Oh my God! By all that's holy, it couldn't possibly be him. All those years, I'd lost hope. I never forgave myself. I committed a mortal sin.
Well, I don't know what you did. But this is supposed to be your absolution.
No, there's no absolution. Not yet. You said it yourself. Not until Ambrose's brother gets what he deserves. The bones. They still lie there outside the wall. help me. His soul must find peace.
All right, I'll help you. But you'll have to tell me more.
Thank you, lad, thank you. But not here. We must go to the graveyard. That's where my curse lies.
Let's go then. There's no time to waste.
Here it is.
What does the graveyard have to do with absolution?
Hold on. Not so fast. I'll tell you everything. First, tell me, are you afraid of the dead?
The dead should rest in peace, even if they aren't in consecrated ground.
You're right, lad. But sometimes there's no choice but to disturb them. You see, one poor soul is waiting for redemption. For years and years.
Ah, I get it now. Ambrose's brother has to get what he deserves. This is about the soul of Ambrose's brother.
His name was Jan. He lies outside the graveyard wall, buried without rites. He's been there for 30 years.
Why doesn't he have a proper grave?
Because suicides can't enter the Kingdom of Heaven. They have to be buried outside the walls, like the unclean. The worst thing about it is that Jan didn't kill himself. He didn't deserve such a dishonourable burial, and it's my fault. I said nothing.
What happened to him?
The memories are painful. We were childhood friends, and Jan loved me. Only, I chose his friend Vashek over him. He couldn't get over the rejection. So he lay in wait for Vashek one evening.
And Vashek killed him?
It was an accident. They quarrelled. Jan drew his sword first, and Vashek had to defend himself. Apparently, they got close to the cliff edge while they were fighting, and Jan fell. When they found his body at the bottom of the cliff, people thought he'd killed himself. The only one who didn't believe it was Jan's brother.
Ah, the conciliatory cross where they saw the apparition. That's to commemorate Jan.
His brother Ambrose had it built there. And those diabolical apparitions. It's my fault for saying nothing. God is punishing me for my sins.
Nonsense. God wouldn't use a diabolical apparition to scare you, would he? And what's more, Ambrose forgave you, didn't he?
Only on the condition that Jan's bones will be laid to rest in consecrated ground. Help me lay him to rest in a proper grave, please.
But without telling the priest and gravedigger. Isn't that sacrilege?
That's the only way we can put right a terrible mistake. Jan didn't kill himself.
All right. We'll give him a proper burial. Jan's soul has the right to eternal rest.
Thank you. The Lord will pay you back 100-fold. There's a rose bush outside the graveyard wall. You'll find his bones beneath it. Please bury him beside my Vashek. Here, beneath the pine tree. In that way they'll be reconciled, at least in death. Then place Ambrose's cross on his grave to bless their reconciliation. Hail Mary.
Your journey ends here, Jan. I don't know what you have on your conscience. But rest in peace. I don't know much about prayer in these situations, but... Our Father, there are many sinners in this world, but in the end, we all face your judgment for what we should have done, but lacked the courage to do. So forgive me this little sacrilege. You know better than anyone that it was the right thing to do. Thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven, and deliver us from evil. Amen. Ambrose's brother Jan got what he deserved, just as the Hermit wanted.
I saw that. May his soul find peace at last.
And yours too, Margaret.
30 years. I thought about it every day.
It's all right now. You did the right thing. Everything else is beyond the law of man.
I'd like to reward you somehow.
I expect you wouldn't want anyone to hear about all this, right?
Well, if you... Will you keep it to yourself?
I don't want anything. And I won't tell anyone.
Thank you. My nephew is a tailor and he knows a thing or two about alchemy. If you ever need anything from him, I'll put in a word for you. God be with you, Henry. Farewell. Amen.
Whoa! Whoa!
Hey, fella! Listen, we need help!
Jesus Christ.
Look at me.
Benedicta tu. Let him go!
Prepare to
My
fight!
God! Show what you're made of! Fuck yourself! What do you want? Show what you're made of!
You have a kind master, eh? The lads will never believe me. Well, well. I can't believe that she's just lying around. Fine. This could come in handy. It's mine now. you trying to pull, you scoundrel?
Damn it! What was that all about?
I think I owe you an explanation.
Yeah, you're right. Let's hear it then.
And what is it you want to hear from me?
Why were they trying to kill you?
I had proof that our Grand Master Zdeněk had betrayed the Order and was conspiring with the Prague chapter. But it was turned against me. Damned Inquisition. First they chased out Ambrose, and now me.
Where can I find Ambrose's broken sword?
It's not far. At the edge of the meadow up there are 2 entangled birch trees. There's a grave beneath them, and the sword is on the grave.
That's all I need to know.
And that's an end to it. This is in return for your silence.
Thank you. I won't say a word. Don't worry.
Farewell, friend. Go with God. Benedictio Domini sit tecum. Silly doggy.
There's nothing more here. I'm sorry, Ambrose. Rest in peace. Now that's what I call steel. It may be broken, but there's hardly a trace of rust.
Afraid of water, are you?
Ah, of course not. I was just heading to the baths.
Greetings. What do you need?
So I'm back, Master Blacksmith.
Excellent. How did it go with the Hermit?
He's dead.
What? Did you?
No, not me. It just got a bit complicated. Anyway, it turns out old Ambrose really used to be a knight. And this really is Toledo steel. You were right, Blacksmith.
God's nails. That's quite something.
First class welded steel. Ambrose must have broken the sword himself, deliberately. It wouldn't have just happened in battle.
That's exactly what we need. See now, youngster. My clever plan worked out nicely in the end.
Right. Well, thank you very much for your, clever plan.
God's nails. You took your sweet time.
Well, it wasn't easy, but I got that sword in the end, though, didn't I? So stop moaning, Radovan.
Yeah. I didn't mean anything by it. And now get to the forge. It won't be the sword for Samin now, but at least you can help me win a wager.
Wait, I thought you wanted to do it yourself. I'm just your assistant, after all.
Not at all. I trust you. One day you'll become a master. That is, unless you lose your head first.
Damn it. I'm burning it.
You silly doggy.
The sermons have been awful lately. If I hear about the woman with 10 silver coins one more time, I'll scream. Maybe we could keep some wine. That would make it more bearable. Or
Christ
they
almighty.
and not go. What's it about? You want to go to hell? Hell or a never-ending boring nap? What's the difference? Greetings to you two.
Oh, this is useless. It's cold. That doesn't look good. A bit more and I'll fuck it up. That looks good. Now just to temper it.
How can I help you today, friend?
I've got something for you, blacksmith.
God's nails. What's this supposed to be?
It's a sword, isn't it? More or less.
My word. You're damn good. I don't understand why you packed in your craft and prefer to waste your time hanging around with mill girls.
Well, I'm working for you now. So, I think...
You think what? Thinking's no good to anyone. You have a talent, lad, so don't bloody waste it.
Maybe I'll return to the forge another time. One day.
It's up to you. But the way I see it, you've just helped me win that damn wager. Tomcat will be surprised. Take that sword to him, and you can keep what that bastard owes me for your trouble.
Greetings.
You silly dog.
Christ, pardon me.
Salmore. G'day, g'day.
The Lord be with you. What do you need?
Blacksmith Radovan sent me.
You mean that fella who's full of horse shit? What's his excuse today? Did a horse piss in his furnace? Ha!
I hear you lost a wager.
The drunken fucker. I underestimated him.
4 strains of welded steel. Firm blade, flexible core.
Ha! In his dreams. To hell with the fucking wager.
What do you mean?
That asshole didn't make this. Someone did it for him, and the bastard's taking the credit.
It was a bet. What difference does it make who forged the sword?
Fine. If you want your money, first prove to me it's not a piece of shit. I want to see the blade at work.
You want to fight?
You want that coin, don't you?
If it's a jewel you want, you've got it. Blacksmith is more of a pastime for me anyway.
So this is your work? You're a good craftsman. It'd be a shame if I broke your arms. The coin is yours. You can tell that asshole Radovan that he won the wager. But if you want to fight, I'll be at your service here anytime.